The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why they actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations. That's forming a.
Good evening and welcome back. This is Lowe's Moore and welcome to The Blueprint. Look, again, what's my favorite word? I know you guys know my favorite word. I'm excited. Every week I'm excited to come to you guys. I just want to start up front saying thank you again. Each and every week you guys have been just so supportive, of The Blueprint. I thank you for your comments. I thank you for your questions. Remember, this is interactive. So if you got a comment or question, you can put it on. We'll check it out on the screen. If, my guest could actually answer questions as well based on you writing in a question for him. Hey, I got to say thank you, man. This is awesome. I'm coming up on the end of my second year, so I'm excited about that, and I'm looking forward to season 3. We're trying to think about some different things. This year, I was able to transition not only from Facebook, just doing Facebook Live, but I was able to transition over into YouTube. And which is really nice as well. So having both venues is always very powerful. So again, on Facebook, I'm on lowesmore.com if you're watching over there. And then I'm on Lowe's Moore Jr. Hey, so again, thank you. Isn't it amazing? I mean, last week it was about 70 degrees, and then it dropped during the evening, and I went downstairs, man, because it got a little chilly, and I turned on the heat. I was like, man, I got to turn this heat up. Isn't it amazing, man? Just on Monday, it was like, in your 70s, a little cool at night, kind of little California weather, 70, 70 during the day, nice. And all of a sudden that, at night it get a little cool. Well, man, this is ridiculous here, man. It was 70, then it jumped to 90. I couldn't believe it when I saw the weather report that we would jump to 90 degrees. I mean, yesterday was hot. I thought we were in the middle of the summer, right? We almost got that weather like, no, I'm gonna say almost. I've been in Orlando in August, and I'll tell you, it was woo, man, you were running to the car. Hopefully somebody had a already starter in the car where you could the car gets started and you jumping in the air is already on, man. That's how hot it was. But it was hot yesterday. And I'm not complaining. I can adjust to anything, but that was ridiculous yesterday. So, but you never know what the weather is supposed to be cool a little bit later on this week. So, hey, prepare for it. I always say, man, if I wake up in the morning, I want to thank God and keep moving, So, again, welcome to the Blueprint Podcast, man. And thanks, Daryl, for the shout out on a happy anniversary, man. Appreciate you. And so let me drop this ball here. This is my ball or my pebble. Drop my pebble in the pond because I'm expecting a ripple effect, right? Every interview that I've had, man, somebody's been blessed by it, right? And there's my good friend and former teammate, right? Gary McIntosh, man. What's up, Gary? You saying good evening? Yes, Gary's in the Bahamas, man. That's my buddy, man. There go Pastor Paul is on there. He's saying happy anniversary, man. Awesome message this morning. Happy for you that you're back in the church, man. You guys are back in the church for the first time, man, in a couple of years, man. And I could see you was excited. I thought you was going to run all around the church, man. You was so excited in there. But my man Gary, I'm looking forward to getting out there to the Bahamas, man, doing some basketball camps, clinic. I'm looking forward to you bringing a team up here to New York too as well, man. Look, I can't wait to get out to the Bahamas, man. So we need to make this thing happen as soon as possible. We need to schedule it. Uh, so thank you guys. Thank you for the happy anniversary shout outs. And so let me get right into this thing, man. Let's get rolling. I want to start out with the book of the week. Yeah, that's my book of the week right there. The Bob Love story. Now, if you don't know, hey, I always say if you don't know your history, if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you are, and you have no idea where you're going. Bob Love is one of the greatest NBA players of all time, man. You know, Butterbean, man, that dude was smooth, man, about 6'7", 6'8", man, just gliding through. You know, I always appreciate Bob because, and you ought to, if you don't know anything about Bob Love, you ought to get his book and read it. Bob had a speech impediment. I mean, he used to stutter, and doing interviews, man, he had a real hard time, man. Talking to people and having interviews. At some point they had stopped interviewing him, and what he did, man, he didn't get upset, man. He just kept playing ball, kept being good, right? And then he went to a speech therapist, and by the end of his career, somewhere in the middle of his career, man, Bob was speaking smooth as butter, man, and had a great career, and now is in. I think he's still working with the Bulls organization as well, and just a beautiful human being, and man, just a beautiful game. So get that book, The Bob Love Story. And then this is the word of the week, right? The word of the week is life, right? I mean, you see the stages where you're going from baby, to, middle age, old age, right? It's all good. It's all good. But you know what? I believe in life, man. I like to talk about life. I like to talk about joy. I like to be positive. I like to stay away from stress, because I want to enjoy this life, man. And that's a very powerful word, man. You can get it. You can get your mindset on death. You can get your mindset on the negative, or you can get your mindset on hate. But I like to keep my mind on life, not death. I like to keep my life on blessings, not curses, right? I like to keep my life on positive, not negative, right? I love the yin, but I don't like the yang. So life is important. So wake up every morning and speak life to yourself, and not only speak life to yourself, but speak life to other people, right? Bring life and light to them. So that's my word of the week, right? Life. And then my Pierce Harper affirmation quote. I like when Bob Proctor, may he rest in peace, he does these little affirmations. He says, "I am so happy and grateful now that I am a magnet for health and wealth and the happiness that I desire." Sometimes you got to get up in the morning, you got to speak to yourself. I am a magnet for health and wealth and the happiness I desire. That's what I desire. I'm a magnet for good health, a magnet for wealth, right? And the happiness I desire. So that's my affirmation moment. And then let me jump right into I got to have my music, right? This is one of my favorites. When I get up in the morning, right? Morning Glory, man. This is going way back, man. This praise and worship, this music has transcend time, right? It is lovely. Juanita Bynum, man, she came up with Morning Glory, did a concerts on Morning Glory, and my favorite is, man, in the morning to talk about peace in the morning, right? I love hearing about peace in the morning. I love to hear that water flowing in the morning, and man, she just an awesome. If you don't have this music, this is the best of Morning Glory. She's had a few of those, so make sure you get that, man. If you want to relax in the morning, change your frequency, right? Change your sound in the morning from death to life, And Marnina Bynum will help you do that, right? And transition yourself over into peace. And then, of course, man, one of my favorite movies, I got a lot of favorite movies, but Shooter, right? Every single time my wife, she be, like taking a nap at night, watching TV, watching the game. She started taking a nap and I get bored with what I'm watching, whether it's sports or something. I flip the channel and there will be Shooter, right? And I look up there and I stop and pause. My wife will wake up and say, "No, we ain't watching. You're not watching that. You done seen that thing 75 times already." I don't know what it is about this movie Shooter, but I really enjoy it. And so that if you haven't seen Shooter, I'm sure everybody has seen Shooter. It's been on 100 million times already. So uh, so make sure you do that. Make sure you check that movie out and get that music. All right, let me get a quick reminder. This is a reminder that this is May is Mental Health Month. Make sure you taking care of yourself, not only physically, not only spiritually, but mentally too, right? And if you're having any problems mentally, right, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody about it. Make them aware of it. Make a doctor's appointment and go see somebody, right? Because the mind is extremely powerful, right? And so we want to make sure that you are right holistically. That means mind, body, and spirit, socially and financially as well. So yeah, let's do that. And then again, the number of people have been giving me shout out because we're coming to the end of my second season on the Blueprint, and so this is the second anniversary of the Blueprint, man. And man, I longevity, man. I want to say, man, this is longevity is the key, right? I've had some amazing guests on. They have. I hope that the guests that have been on, I know they've been a blessing to me. I hope they've been a blessing to you too, man. They just brought so much information because we all assume when we see people successful that they just woke up one day and they was just successful. We forget about the process. It was good to hear from so many people this year that talked about their process, that talked about where they started off at. Some of it good, some of in tragedy, all kinds of things. But we have learned to overcome things to become the people that we desire to be in our hearts. And I believe everybody is born rich and everybody's been born to win, right? But sometimes in this society, we've been programmed to lose. We've been born to be rich, born to win, but programmed to lose. And we want to change that narrative so that we recognize that we are born to be successful, born to be rich, right? And born to be winners and break that program of loss. So again, I'm excited because on June the 5th, we're going to have our anniversary show. I'm looking forward to that. Right. I'm really excited about it. And I just enjoy bringing it to you guys each and every week. So thank you again for your support. Right. And then next week, I got my good brother, Anthony Johnson. He's going to be coming on the Blueprint next week. And we're going to be talking about youth development. We're going to talk about his life, but we're going to talk about, I've been in youth development area for almost 50 years, right? I was a member of the Boys and Girls. I volunteered at the club. I worked there as a counselor and then came back after my career and became the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club and the executive director of development for 27 years. We know my man Anthony's been in the youth development business for 30 years, right? And so we're going to be bringing some knowledge about youth development. Man, there's so many issues going on with youth today, but we want to drop some knowledge on you next week. So I look forward to seeing you next week. And so, again, thank you for tonight's support. And let's get into this thing, man. Right now, I want to show you this highlight, and then I'm going to introduce my guest, and we're going to get rolling.
Pulled a Manier. Nice pass to Ryan Spangler to the basket. That was pretty.
Idea by Steve. Turned that corner, had a wide open shot. Got to knock it down.
Beautiful pass. Wow. Cousins to Buddy Hield.
It's hit by Lucas. No, Oklahoma ball. Boy, how do you stop Cousins in transition?
Oklahoma now in the half court.
Cousins should try to take Adrian off the dribble.
He pulls up, scores.
That's a mismatch right there. And that's what happens in the press sometimes. And very well.
Quick pass ahead from Woodard to Cousins, and Oklahoma cracks the scoring.
Cousins drives on Graham, gets inside. That's a big play by Cousins.
Pull up three, Isaiah Cousins.
With more confidence.
Under 12 minutes to go here in the half. Getting loose on the baseline.
He has really struggled of late. Cousins inside. Off to Latin for the slam.
In the two games scoring-wise, they stepped it. Just as I mentioned, he's not going to be quiet any longer.
So they can really push up and make those guys drive.
Cousins drains a three.
Cousins grabs the alley. Is that a block or a steal? He did both on the same play. Cousins for three.
Bolton is on Woodard. Cousins over Phillip.
How about that?
Huge bucket of three.
Bench at the 4:25 mark of the first half. So Cousins stepping it up and one.
We talked about Cousins and Woodard and trying to keep them under wraps.
Woodard over to Cousins. Cousins going to fire the three.
Yes! Wow. We're tied at 75. End of the game. I thought they were going to blow him out of the gym. Oklahoma. Didn't happen. They came back.
Isaiah Cousins. Got it.
He can make those all day.
And it takes us to the half.
That fit the system, and it's a system that Bob Huggins hasn't always coached. And you and I
either. not a real happy memory. A lob for Hield this time. He flushes it home.
Back it now. Got a little daylight on eBay, and he drains it.
The Sooners back to the first half. It's been 9 straight to start the second half. And they're looking for more. Buddy Hield.
Better. He's looking for his team to keep that edge as they roll through non-conference into Big 12 play. That'll help. Cousins to Latin.
Games played together.
Cousins three. That one goes.
Zach Smith doing a nice job denying Buddy Hield the ball way out away from the basket. Oh, big shot by Isaiah Cousins. You know how much I...
Awesome. Welcome to the Blueprint, Isaiah Cousins. What's up, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, it is my pleasure to have you on here, man. Awesome. Hey, I got to right out the back, man. I think in this season, I always talk about my books or my favorite books or my favorite word and music and stuff like that. Man, you got a favorite book?
Do I have a favorite book? Nah, not really. I haven't been reading that much. But I seen Kyrie had posted a book. I forgot the name of it. I forgot what it's called. He was just on I Am Athlete, and he posted like 3 books. And I'm thinking about getting, but right now I don't have. I got the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba Mentality. I still ain't even read that book yet, but.
Yeah. No, that's a good one though. That's a good one. I mean, whether you're an athlete, right, or whether you're in business or life, Kobe has some unique mindset.
Yeah.
About how to approach success. So that's awesome. That's an awesome book right there. I mean, you got to get in it, but I mean,
yeah, I still got it. So when I get time, I'm gonna try to read
it. Oh man, what about a word? You got your what's your favorite word?
My favorite word, right now is patience.
That's a good word. That's a good word. We all can learn a little patience.
Yeah, that's the problem. We all want it to go all the way, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. Everybody has their own journey, and I think that's a part of that word that I would say, because sometimes you just wish you could just you see other people's success stories, and you wish your life could pan out like that. But sometimes everything happens for a reason, and when it's your turn, it's your turn.
Yeah, no, that's a powerful word, man. I appreciate that. And what about you got an affirmation or something that you speak to yourself?
Affirmation.
Yeah, something you talk to yourself about, and because people don't sometimes don't acknowledge they talk to themselves. I talk to
Yeah.
myself. I mean, I got to tell myself stuff all the time, right? Um, so yeah, you got a favorite quote?
Me and this guy, he used to be in the military, but he always used to tell me, "Weak things break." So I would say that's probably one I could think of right now. But
Weak things break.
yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah,
Weak things break.
no, that's a good one too. Weak thing break. Oh man.
Weak
uh,
things break.
yeah. What about music? Favorite?
Music.
Yeah.
Well, I listen to hip hop and a little reggae and dancehall and
Okay.
Afro beats. But so you asked me which song is like. I mean, I really don't have a favorite song, but like,
No, the music is good. I mean, you got a little variety there.
yeah, sometimes you need to listen to some reggae, hear some conscious tunes. Reggae got a lot of good music, so like
Yeah, I
a
mean, so
lot of
you like the stuff that got some knowledge into it.
yeah, a lot of like motivation, like stuff that like keep you going. Sometimes, sometimes you need that in life. You need to hear something to motivate you to keep going, keep striving.
Yeah, yeah. What about a movie?
A
Movie.
movie,
Yeah, movies. Favorite movie?
favorite movie. I would say Above the Rim.
Above the Rim. That's with Tupac.
Yeah, Tupac. New
Yeah,
York.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, New York.
and Leon, right?
Yeah, it's a classic movie.
Yeah, I had Leon on the show. We were talking about him, and he was
Which one is Leon?
Leon was the older brother.
Oh, okay.
Remember, he came
Okay.
in at the end with his pants on. He put the jersey on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Leon's from Mount Vernon.
Oh, the funny guy. Isn't he in another movie or something?
He's in
He
Cool Runnings. Remember
Cool
the
Runnings. Okay, okay.
yeah the Jamaican bobsledders.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that movie.
Yeah, yeah. That's Leon. Yeah. I mean, his mom still lives in Mount Vernon. So
Mm.
he's always in Mount Vernon, and but he went to school at Mount St. Michael's. So everybody be teasing him he ain't from Mount Vernon. So yeah,
It's really right across the street though.
it is. I mean, Denzel was on that line. He lived on Monday Lane.
Yeah, money.
You
Yeah, money. Yeah,
Yeah, you cross the street, man. You right there at
you're right there.
he lived right by the football field over there on Monday Lane.
Did he go to Mount? He didn't go to Mount. He went to Mount Vernon High
No,
School,
no,
right?
no. He actually he went to when he first came here, he was in Trapegan, and
Mhm.
he lived over there. And then he went to Washington Junior High School, and then he wasn't being such a good kid at the time, and so his mom sent him to military school. So
Mm.
he never went to the high school. He went to
Some
military school.
people need that military school. Get disciplined. Find discipline.
Yeah, his mother, man, look, his mother needed to get him out of here, man. So and so yeah, you know, that's a good start. I like to start out by I got three questions I like to start out the show with, and it's the importance the importance of family, um,
Mhm.
the importance of faith, and the importance of education. So start with family. Start with your mom and you know dad, brothers. I know I know your brother, but I don't know if you had
Yeah.
any other siblings and anything like that. So talk about your mom. I've known your mom for a little while.
Yeah. Big Lisa.
Well,
Yeah, my mother.
we when I was a young guy, we used to spend a lot of time at I think she was at Rehoboth Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to spend a lot of time there. I mean, when I was in high school, I spent a lot of time at Rehoboth, man. With the
Yeah, they had a good choir, huh?
Bishop Brown. I was at Bible Way. I went to Bible Way in New Rochelle,
Yeah.
and then Pastor Garner had a church, and they used to have a lot of good basketball players in the church. And we used to go to these tournaments. We used to have tournaments at the Boys and Girls Club. We used to have a tournament at Bible Way in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And they used to host these tournaments, and we used to play in the church all the time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of church leagues. I used to play in a couple of church leagues, right, Roxanne? I used to play in a couple of church leagues.
I mean, hey, look, when I first how I got my mom, of course, always my mom and grandma always made us go to church. And my grandmother used to always call up here, you taking those kids to church? Like that. And then I had a moment where I had stopped. I wasn't going anymore. My mom was, and that's a young lady that I met, I was attracted to, and she asked me to come to church to play basketball. So that's how it got me back in the church. Of course, the church had a basketball team. So, and we played against Rehoboth. That was one of the teams we played against, but it got me back in church. So, yeah, talk about your mom, talk about family.
Yeah, my mom, she grew up in the church lady, real nice person. I think she made a lot of sacrifices for me. I think I wouldn't be able to go in the position I was in without my mother. She tried to do the best she can to raise me and my brother. My real father, he's not in my life, but I had a stepfather, grew up with my stepfather. I had my real father has other kids that surround Mount Vernon. I'm starting to get to meet up with them, link up with them, get to know them a little better. But when I was growing up, I didn't know who they was. I just knew my father just left when I was young, but I had a stepfather, so I mean he was a great guy. Learned a lot from him. Had a different culture. He was Jamaican though, so yeah.
Yeah, so you got to learn a different culture.
Yeah. Also, my godmother was in my life a lot. Adora. She did a lot for me. So yeah, I had a lot of people trying to help me and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And what about your brother? I mean, he's always down at the club, man.
yeah, brother's quiet. He's a good kid. He's like real quiet. So, but he really likes to play a game. I'm kind of opposite. I'm not a gamer. I tried playing games when I was like probably in like 6th, 7th grade. But after that, when I started really playing basketball, I wasn't really in tune to games. I was more about playing basketball all day.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we got a picture of him, you and him, man, because both of you guys end up playing on the high school team.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know if you knew this or not, that 11 was my favorite number.
Because Isaiah Thomas.
No, well, I was older than Isaiah, so
Oh.
I'm before Isaiah. So that was, I got caught up in between when I grew up. Walt Frazier,
No, yeah.
yeah, and then Earl of Pearl Monroe, and they were both number 10. Walt Frazier with the Knicks and Earl Monroe with the Washington Bullets at the time, and then I kept saying, well, I don't really want to be Walt or Earl. I'm gonna take Walt's kind of defense, and I'm gonna take Walt's around the back dribble, and I'm gonna take Earl's spin. But I like the 2 1s. I like the number 11. And when I was in high school, we didn't have a number 11. Right? So I ended up 12 at home, 15 on the road. I don't know how that happened, but I did. And then when I got to college, I got my number, and when I got to the pros, I got my number 11. So Yeah. So I said you fell right in line with the nice number.
I really used to like 1 though, but I think when I got to Oklahoma, there was a senior who had that number before, and then I just stuck with 11. Because in high school, I was number 1. I think I got the inspiration from D Rose.
Oh yeah. Well, what was he one of your favorite players?
Nah, not really, but like I don't know. One looks cool. Like one looks cool, but 11 looks even cooler.
Right.
11,
And
double 11.
well, Gus Williams, you was right in line with Gus Williams. He wore number 1.
Yeah. But then
Yeah.
also Isaiah Thomas. Then you had Jamal Crawford. So those are the guys I was looking at, like number 11.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, do you remember any of your experiences? Your mom drag? Well, I don't say she was dragging you to church. She was like, "Okay, come on, let's go." You had no choice, right?
Yeah, when I
Do
was a
you?
kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about church growing up?
Um. I mean, she was in a choir, so
She could
she
sing.
used to.
Can she sing?
I guess. I mean,
What do
if
you
you in a
mean? You
choir,
wasn't
you should
listening
be
to
able
your
to.
mom? Oh man.
Yo, yeah, she could sing, but yeah, she was in a choir, so she used to go traveling, always having uh choir service, stuff like that. Yeah, she used to be real active in the church.
Yeah. And I'm sure between the importance of family and the importance of faith, what about what she was dealing with in sharing with you or dealing with you in regards to education? What was her thoughts for you in terms of that?
Um, like finishing school, getting a degree. I believe she was getting her degree when she first had me, so school was kind of like a big priority.
Yeah, no, well, it is a big priority.
But I had went to elementary school in Lincoln, but after Lincoln, like school was kind of like as I got older and I got like aware, like once I got to college, I kind of realized that the educational system in Mount Vernon is kind of backwards because a lot of the stuff I had to learn like on the fly when I got to Oklahoma. Like a lot of the kids, they had some of the skills that made college kind of like easier. Like, but like once I left Lincoln, because I think Lincoln was probably like a good school, but once I went to like middle school and high school, it was I wouldn't say like the educate like it. I'll just say like it's kind of harder to learn in certain environments
Mm.
with when you have a bunch of kids that I feel like a lot of kids in Mount Vernon, we all have different journeys, and each kid has probably something that they're dealing with outside of school, so it's harder for them to learn. But it's kind of rough environment to all these kids together trying to learn together. But that's what I say because when I got to college, it was like I'm writing I'm writing papers and I'm seeing people. I'm like, how you get this grade and I got this grade? I'm like, you're not even saying nothing. Like you just writing complex sentences. Like I mean,
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was a shock for me too because, um, and I believe that the educational system was really, really good when I came up. But in terms of African American boys, young men, um, yeah, my mind I wasn't there, and it was like you said, there's a lot of social things going on. There's a lot of
yeah.
different things outside of education that has a hold of your mind, right? Did you think that? How did the basketball start? How did you start? Because I'm gonna go back to the education, but how did you start getting into the basketball?
Um, I I don't know. I think basketball just came. I think I was in fifth grade and I tried out for junior nights, but I had got cut, and then actually I think I heard about junior nights from somebody in Harley Park. See, I live in the plaza, so Harley Park is like right across the street. So I always used to go to Harley Park. Like I was in Harley Park pretty much every day. So I think when I had got cut, that's when I was just playing basketball all the time. And then I think the YMCA was open, and I forgot how I got a membership. I just think we went to. I think the YMCA was like you just write I think I heard you could write a letter and then they'll be able to get you a membership. So I did that, and I was going to the YMCA, just learn. I was just trying to kind of like I had my own little journey and to like getting into it.
Right. Yeah. And then finally, did you end up making junior nights?
Yeah, sixth grade, I made junior nights, but I didn't really know the fundamentals of the game. So it was like I was learning it, and whatever I learned, I remember one practice, like the coach kept yelling at me, like I think it was about a drop step. I think Coach Dwayne, he kept yelling at me about a drop step. I'm like I just kept getting it wrong, and I remember I just went to the YMCA and just tried that drop step. At the time, I don't think nobody was really going to the YMCA.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then after the junior nights, what ended up happening after the junior nights?
After sixth grade, I had a great year in the junior nights. I got MVP. From MVP, they moved me up to play JV in eighth grade, and then eighth grade and ninth grade I was on JV.
Oh, you was on JV eighth and ninth grade?
Yeah, but I think I really had a passion for basketball though, because I was in the park every day. Like my mom used to make me do laundry. we have a laundromat in the building that I was living in the plazas, but there was the laundromat on Gramerton. I used to go to the laundromat, and I leave the laundromat and just go to Harley Park, and I'm in there all day just playing basketball.
Did you get the wash done?
Yeah, I'll get it done, but I'm on a court. I'm on a court playing, so I would do that all the time. So I was always in the park playing. I was always playing. Like it was really a journey, because at that time playing in Harley Park, I just left Harley Park too. It was a time where it was like the older guys playing, and there was like people who was like, it was like girls playing, and then it was like a mixture with the boys, like with young dudes who was okay. But at the time, like if you couldn't really play, you couldn't get on the court. So it was like I had to work for it. I had to like kind of practice, keep practicing. I mean, I looking at it now, I really love how it played out, because like that was like good times, because if you look at it, basketball is kind of like it keeps your minds off of stress, and it's just like a fun game. And when you're just doing it out of the love and passion, it's like you really enjoy it and you really want to keep doing it every day. I think that's why it's like being a professional is kind of fun, because it's something that you love to do.
And did you eventually figure out that in order for you to continue to play basketball, that you needed to be better in school?
I didn't figure that out until my senior year, until I met Lou Hill. I didn't know that you needed a GPA just to get to go to a certain school. I wasn't aware of that. But it wasn't like I had bad grades. I mean, I'm smart, but I could have been like, if I put my mind to it, I could have been a straight A student. But some certain classes, like, you don't go as hard as much as you supposed to. But yeah, until I was going to Oklahoma is when I realized that you needed like a 2.5, I think it was, or 2.4, just to get in college.
Right, and then you needed a certain either SAT score.
Yeah, SAT score. Yeah, if you didn't have that grade point average, yeah. If you had a low grade point average and you had a high SAT score, then it's easier for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that hopefully the process has gotten better, right? In regards to now it's the clearinghouse.
Yeah.
Right. If you play an AAU, then there are certain requirements, certain grade requirements in order to, receive a Division I scholarship. So like you said, the higher your grade point average, the lower your SAT.
Yeah.
The lower your grade point average, the higher your SAT needs to be. Right. And I
Yeah.
don't even know that today. I don't know if they reverted back, but they were disqualifying the SAT for the last couple of years and just taking people based on the grade point average
Yeah.
and
The
graduation.
SAT is hard.
Yeah, SAT is hard.
You don't learn none of those words unless you read like the dictionary.
Well, yeah, that's why I always come on and I stress because I understand that now.
Yeah.
You understand that now, but coming up, a lot of times we didn't know, right? The importance of why I should read a book.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about illiteracy. Reading comprehension, writing skills. All those things that you need to be equipped with. I think that's what you were mentioning earlier. That when you got to college, right? Here's some skills that I need,
Yeah.
right? And then you had to pick up those skills and end up, so that you can grow. Yeah. And I think I had a picture here. I call it the young Isaiah. Yeah.
I was in like 10th grade. I had number 20. I was
Yeah,
10th
number
grade.
20. And that uniform look a little big there. And then eventually you filled it out. So talk about playing at Mount Vernon High School. Talk about that experience of playing in high school and while talking about it, did you once you made the team, right? At any point at playing at Mount Vernon High School, were you aware of the tradition of Mount Vernon basketball?
Yeah. I was definitely aware of the tradition. I was aware of it.
Right. Yeah. You were aware that there was a lot of great players, playing before you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know about it.
Was it anybody that you knew about during your playing time that somebody talked about or said to you, hey, what do you think about this player, or what player that in the past do you know about?
The players from your era, I didn't really hear too much about them. Cause just from the age factor, so it's like the players that I would hear about is like probably like Coach Amino's like couple of first years, like the Coach Gary's, the Rashard Lewis, the Ben Gordon's. I heard about those players,
Mm-hmm.
but I think as I got on varsity, that's when I heard about certain players like Rasul, Pritch, but only until like I like met like Lou Hill. That's when he was like telling me about the old guys, and I met like the brothers that was in Houston. What's the brothers that was in Houston?
Rodney and Scooter
Yeah, Rodney and Scooter. But
McCray.
also there's a book in Mount Vernon. It's a lot of people's names in it. So
Yeah.
I just heard about 4th Street. I heard 4th Street was really like competitive back in the day, and it was like the thing to go to. Cause when I was growing up, I think when I was like 8th grade, we had like little leagues in like 4th Street.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it wasn't like back in the day. But we had a couple of leagues in 4th Street. There was like a little church league in 4th Street too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was thinking the other day, during the course of the week, I was thinking, I'm going to interview Isaiah Cousins. I'm going to interview Isaiah. Yeah. I was thinking like, man, I was thinking about the time in which you played and you kind of missed unfortunately you missed the era of Mount Vernon. And
I wish I was in that era.
Yeah. Well, Ben caught just the end of it where myself and Gus and a number of us were still coming to the Boys and Girls Club, and we were still playing, right? And we were still playing in leagues, and you know, we taught a lot. You know, while we were playing, you know, we were sharing experiences of how to play the game, right? And we were still playing at a high level, and I got my behind kicked all the time. I mean, whether it was Harley Park or 4th Street Playground, guys were just so good, right? I mean, they first of all, if you didn't become good, if they didn't think you had potential, right, they wouldn't even let you come in the playground. I mean, like, don't come in the gate, you know. And so like Gus and Ray and Earl Tatum and Rudy Hackett and Bill Ples and all of these legends, they used to, we get on the court and they used to just beat us up. But then after they finish beating you up, they start telling you, hey, you need to work on this or you need to do this. They start talking to you about education and how important it was, and you know, and then you get to ask them what the experience was like. Right. And so you just missed the time, right, where we had just stopped playing.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely. But when I met Lou Hill, he brought me and told me about the old guys and the Lou Tucker. Lou Tucker. He told me about everybody.
Yeah, because Lou Tucker was, well, you know, since you mentioned Lou, we got a couple of pictures. I've known Lou. Man, there's a picture of us at West Virginia. We came down to see you guys at West Virginia. Me and Isaiah, you know, came down to see you guys play when you came to West Virginia. And Lou was, you know, remembering Lou, he was a funny guy, man. I mean, you know, he used to, you talk about guys making up stuff. He used to make up words and he used to come up with crazy stuff, man. He was just a character, man. Just a little silly brother running around, man, hanging off. We're like, yo, man, you ain't got no home, man. Why you always over here eating this food, man? Every time I come here, he's looking at a movie. I'm like, what? I tell my brother Doug and Kirk, man, why y'all keep letting Lou in here, man? Lou gonna start paying rent in here, you know. But yeah, he just has so much love and passion, man. And I love the way he played. You a little bit more athletic. You're more athletic than Lou.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lou had game. You know Lou remind me of, huh?
That's what they say. He had game.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you. You know, he remind me of. He remind me of Luka.
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, you know, that kind of slow, methodical game.
Yeah.
Every now and then he'll show you a little quick thing, but he had range. He had crazy range, and he was like 6'5", and he could just shoot that ball, man. And he was confident. And you kind of
a lot of confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. And you kind of remind me of Lou. Your game kind of familiar, but you were more athletic than Lou, man. And truly, I used to talk to Lou. You know, at least try to talk to him about once a month, man, just to see what he was doing, man. And I mean, he's gonna be missed, man, just tremendously. Yeah, man. I'm glad that when he said he was getting you, man, I knew that you were getting into a really nice situation, man, because I knew that Lou would take care of you. Because sometimes you go places, man, you don't get taken care of. Yeah.
That's all I need. I wanted to be able to feel home away from home.
Yeah, and that's a real key too. That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you in Oklahoma, man, ain't nothing out there but some tumbleweed out there. I was in West Virginia, there's nothing but some mountains out there, man. That's all it was.
West Virginia a little different.
Snows. Yeah, it snows. Even though Coach lied, said it didn't snow. It ain't snowed there in 20 years. It snowed every year I was there. You know, he did whatever he had to do to get me there, but
that's what they do.
Yeah. And so talk about you got any exciting stories on playing for Mount Vernon High School? What was the most exciting moment playing for Mount Vernon High?
Exciting moment. I would say when we beat Christ the King in my junior year. I think we was down like the whole game, and then we found a way to come back. And then I remember I hit a three at the top of the key. I think I put us up one, and then we won the game. So I think that was exciting. I think that game allowed us to go to Feds, and then from there we beat. Who did we beat? I think we beat Boys and Girls High School from Brooklyn.
Right. Yeah. So no, those are exciting times, man. I got to see a bunch of games. You had well, Josh was on your team too, right?
Yeah, Josh. Yeah.
Oh man, that boy had more energy.
Yeah. He used to do the Jose Alvarado, the guard from what's his name, the Pelicans, the sneak behind and steal it. Josh used to do that a lot. That was Josh's signature in high school.
Oh yeah, getting them steals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you end up getting signed by Oklahoma University. You go down there and got Lou as a wonderful coach. Lauren Kruger.
Yeah, Lonnie.
Lauren Kruger, I've known him for a long time, man. He's been around for a minute. A lot of these guys started getting older, and Lauren has since retired. But talk about your experience with college, man. Your first few years at you're in Oklahoma.
My first year was kind of up and down. When I got there, I was starting, and then like middle of the season, it took me out the lineup. So, and then I had like a couple of good games like at the end. But I think freshman year was like a learning curve, and I think for a lot of freshmen, like I think we all went through it where things don't go our way, and then we kind of like try and figure it out, and it takes us a while. But when you get there, it's like you put so much hard work. So I think my freshman year was like, it was a year of like reconstructing, and just learning what college coaches want from their players, and learning how the atmosphere is, and learning how to handle adversity, learning how to be mentally prepared for games, and learning how to stay in the game and not get yourself taken out the game. Because, when you're a freshman and you're playing against juniors and seniors, like the juniors do little tricks to try and throw you off. You pick up 2 fouls, just learning the little tricks within the game, within the system. So, especially I was in the Big 12 playing against Kansas, Texas.
Yeah, oh no, you was playing real basketball now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you. Go ahead.
But I think Lou Hill, it was kind of like up and down with the coaches, because I used to think the coaches was against me and Lou Hill. We used to always go back and forth, and he's like, Isaiah, come on. Funny guy, but we used to always bump heads, but I always had to say what I had to say. He said what he had to say, but it took me a while to listen. But I think Lou Hill was a great guy for me. He was a great teacher, even though I'm hard-headed, but it took me a long time to get it. But I think I learned a lot from him, especially with basketball, with life. And I definitely learned a lot from him, because, as a player, when you're not having good games, like you get down, your body language sucks. He was the one that kind of told me that you got to fix your body language. Everybody's watching you. You can't always have it your way. It's still a team. So just because you having a bad game, that doesn't mean you can't be able to cheer on your teammates. That was something that I didn't really learn in high school, that element of it, because I was always trying to prove people wrong. I was always trying to show them that I was good.
Right. And in those earlier years, how was the social challenges? Because I remember talking to, I think back in the day in high school, Ray Rice used to be over the house along with Courtney Green, football players from New Rochelle. I think Ray even played basketball too for New Rochelle High School, and Ben. They used to always ask me these questions. What are the social challenges of playing college basketball? Were any social challenges for you?
For me, no, not really, because it's interesting because Lou Hill always used to tell me like, show your personality, show your personality. I think I'm kind of like a people's person. Like I can interact with many people, but I would say athletes do face social problems. I wouldn't. It wasn't. It might not have been my experience, but yes, I think a lot of people do have social problems because we all, as athletes, come from different cities, different states, and then when we come here, it's like especially like places like Oklahoma, where it's like a PWI, and it's like you're not accustomed to see like certain culture. Like some people don't adapt, and some people like do other things. But when I was at Oklahoma, we had the athletes. We had a lady that kind of helped try to build up that social area. She was a black lady. She was in a sorority, I think Delta. She was a Delta. So like yeah, she used to set up little programs for us, and then we used to, because as an athlete, it's like a lot going on. It's a lot of pressure. Um, you like especially like being from Mount Vernon, it's like you far away from home. It's like you don't see your regular friends. Like you miss some of your friends. So yeah, it's a lot going on, and you
Yeah.
kind of need that support while you on campus.
Mm. And what do you think about what was the adjustments you need? Okay, you're making the adjustments in college, right? You're making the
Hmm.
college adjustments, right? And then now here you are, Isaiah Cousins on television playing ball, right? Living the life, you becoming you becoming the guy,
Yeah,
and you becoming like a household name. Um, what was the adjustment coming home, knowing that you have moved in this direction and then coming home? What was
coming
the
home to Mount Vernon,
yeah, coming back home? And
I
I
was
mean,
barely home. I think I only got home. I think I only got home around probably like my junior year. I was able to come home for like 3 weeks because we normally used to have to start school and like we used to have to start summer school. So I was barely home. I think I used to spend like two. I think my first year I got probably like 2 weeks, and then the next year we went overseas to go play for that 2 weeks. So
hmm. Was it different? Well, I mean, when you came home, was it different? Had anything changed?
yeah, it was different. People starting to look up to you. People starting admiring you because like especially when you come home in the community, like they seen where you grow. Like you don't see it per se, but somebody else in your community seen when you was like growing up and see how you becoming a man and becoming taking your craft seriously and just being able to represent your community while you going in Oklahoma playing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and then, um, when did you know? Yeah, because you guys now your junior and senior year, right? I mean, you guys are really playing well. I mean, you was playing well your freshman sophomore year, but you guys, Oklahoma University was becoming a household name, right? You guys are really playing extremely, extremely well. And then you and Buddy Hill in the backcourt, right? You guys going to the NCAA's every year.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, what was that? What was that experience like? Now, and while you're doing it, right? Are you thinking now, my junior and senior year? Now I'm thinking like, or even maybe you may have been thinking it before. You probably would have been thinking it before, but particularly you there your junior and senior year professionally. What are you thinking about? I mean, what do you think? Do you thinking like, I mean, I'm gonna go to the NBA? What were you thinking about?
Yeah, I
You
was
know.
definitely trying to go to the NBA. I was trying to go pro. So basically, I just approached every day like I was a professional. Like I always came in and worked. I was trying to work just to get better. I took the season seriously. I took when I had a bad game seriously. I was always watching film. So my main goal was to go to the NBA, but it was just like kind of the small steps of trying to work on my game to show that I'm an NBA player. And
Yeah.
then after the season is when after the season, like your senior year is like when you start going to camps and you really trying to. It's kind of like a grind. You're going to camps, then you're going to team workouts, team tryouts, then you're going to Vegas to play. It was like a lot. So
Yeah. And now, I mean, that's like, you, because you guys were in the, how far did you make it your senior year in terms of the NCAAs?
yeah, we went to the Final Four. But on my junior year, I think, or junior year going to the senior year, I
Hmm.
was also invited to like a USA tryout when it was like most of those guys was like I think most of them was like they had a big name and it was like Denzel Valentine from Michigan State, uh Melo Trimble from Maryland. It was like a lot of big guys, so I got invited to little stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah. And so you position yourself trying to go to school, trying to deal with
yeah,
the social life, trying to win basketball games, and then now you're thinking about the transition from college to the pros. And I mean, what were you thinking about? You went through all those camps and stuff like that, and you finally now you guys went to the highest level, Final Four, and you know before I talk about the transition from college to the pros and the whole draft thing and the combine, talk about a little bit about your relationship between you and Buddy Hill in regards to coming up to together doing this.
me and Buddy, our relationship was we both came in together, like we was in the same class, and we both had a hardworking mindset. We both was kind of like underdogs, workaholics. We both workaholics. We kind of understand each other. We both like reggae, so I think I think we pushed each other a lot, especially in the summertime, because the summertime is where as a basketball player you get better. I think every year when we lost, like me and Buddy, we knew like we didn't like that feeling and we always wanted more. So I think that helped us push each other because every time in open gym, he's always guarding me and I'm always guarding him. He don't want to guard nobody else but me. So it's like, in basketball, like when you're a team, like everybody don't want to guard, especially like when you're kind of like the best player, like they don't want to guard the next best player. They always want the easy route. So it's like
Right.
we pushing each other. We was roommates as well. So some days we wake each other up, and and we got a funny story. We used to have a moped, and we both used to ride the moped to class together because we was mainly in the same classes. So
You have
everybody
one
used to
moped?
yeah, one moped, and I used to ride on the back.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man. And yeah, and then now you're preparing. Talk up a little bit of it because we talked about it earlier. A little bit about the process of you mentioned like after it's all over, college and everything is all over,
hmm
and now you're transitioning, um, preparing for the league. What was that process like? Talk about uh, you know playing in I guess the tournaments and stuff like that, trying to get into the combine. Talk about that experience.
Yeah, so the combine is basically like exposure, where it was like 2 days where you have about all the NBA team scouts there. So before the combine, senior, there's like a senior invitation to all the seniors that had a good career in college, and everybody meets up at Portsmouth in West Virginia. I mean, in Virginia. So when you go to Portsmouth, like they take the 5 best people out of that showcase, and they bring them to the combine. If you're not the 5 best, I mean, it's not the end of the world for you. That just means like you might have overseas offers.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a good tournament, and that landed me in the combine. So when you go to the combine, it's like a lot of NBA scouts. Like you don't realize it because like you don't really know anybody that's like in the NBA, but most of those people that was there at the combine, they knew like all of the top ranked kids, like the kids that it's kind of like the kids that grew up in like the top 100 NBA camps and stuff like that. So they already knew most of the guys at the camp. So I'm just coming in there, I'm just learning like how familiar like they are with different players. And from the combine, it's like that's when after the combine is when you start going to NBA workouts, and you start and then you start playing against other people in college that you had seen like on TV or people who's going in the draft, and they try to compete you with each other. So
Yeah, and but I want to go back just a little bit in regards to, I mean, because I went to Portsmouth, totally different than when you went to Portsmouth.
yeah, it's different now too as well. I think there's a showcase before the combine, and then there's also a G League showcase. So it's like they do the G League showcase in a league camp before the actually combine for like the college kids.
Yeah, and Coach Bobby Gonzalez last week was breaking that all down. Um, I went to Portsmouth, and you know, I think I think I played well. I ended up getting drafted, but there were more rounds back then. I think it was 7 rounds, and I got drafted in the 3rd round, the beginning of the first few picks of the 3rd round. But I didn't have to go to a combine. So, but you're saying that you were one of the top 5 players,
Yeah,
right, to come out of Portsmouth to come into the combine.
yeah,
That's an achievement.
yeah. But
I mean, no, I'm just
I'm
saying
still not NBA yet.
no, but I'm saying it's an achievement because think of how many players went to Portsmouth,
Yeah, I
right?
still
And then
play a couple of them, like like overseas too.
yeah, and then now coming to the combine. Now you're talking about all the scouts there, but what do they put you through when you're in the combine?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's 2 days of playing, and then it's another day where it's just a lot of tests you're doing, and then I believe it's been so long ago, and then it's another day where like you're speaking to different NBA scouts. I think they are. But when I went to Portsmouth, I spoke to like most of those scouts already, so like I kind of was prepared. So also in the combine, they do like testing. So they measure you. They check for your agility. They want to see how high you jump. They want to see how fast you could turn. It's like a bunch of drills to show like your speed. I mean, some people say some of it doesn't like technically doesn't matter if you're going to get drafted. If by they see, oh, if you're 6'3" with a little wingspan, some
Mm-hmm.
players still get drafted. But like, it's a lot of it's a lot. Like,
Well, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff. You know what? It was interesting. The guy. This is football, so NFL. What's the name was in the combine? The guy from Pittsburgh, the quarterback from Pittsburgh, the University of
yeah,
Pittsburgh, and they were saying he had small hands. Right now, this guy that went through a whole career throwing that ball, high school, college. He's been successful, right? And you're judging whether he got big enough hands to throw the ball.
yeah,
Yeah, and they get into so many little technical,
yeah.
details. And
But it makes it
that,
not fun no more.
yeah, and it does make it fun. But Kevin Willis. I don't know if you remember Kevin Willis. He used to play with Dominique Wilkins. He didn't. I don't think he got drafted. Right. I think he came in as a free agent. He was 6'8", right? But they
Yeah,
used to always teased him because they said he had alligator arms, like he couldn't get his hands in his pocket, right?
Yeah.
So he had short arms, but he ended up being like, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. I believe one day he's going to make it into the Hall of Fame, but he ended up being big, strong dude, man, always in condition, always in shape, right? And he just ended up being an amazing player, but they looked at his arms and they didn't want to draft him. I mean, like, so it's
Yeah,
all these.
like it's not that serious. Like if he could play, he could play.
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, if you could play, I believe if you and Buddy Hill, your guys are playing elite basketball, right? And that at that level, 4 years at that level, man, you should be able to play in the NBA. It's a matter of the chance, right? And it's a matter of the opportunity, and then also it's a matter of giving you a little time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if you draft somebody at the top of the thing, they want now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and I looked at I got drafted and I played 3 years. I'm like 6'1", 6'2". You like 6'4", 6'5", right? I'm thinking like, man, you should be with your defense ability, your athleticism, you've definitely 100% improved your shooting touch, your shooting skills and stuff like that. And then you have to, you almost had like you got stuck in that what I call the limbo between a lead guard and a point guard.
Yeah. That's always what they want to throw out. That's their excuse. Well, he's in between. He's not really a traditional point guard.
And I'm like, but you all the guards today, except for you take a guy like Chris Paul. He's kind of that traditional point guard, right? He's not because he's not always looking for his shot. A lead guard, while he's being a point guard, a lead guard, while he's looking for his other teammates, he's looking for himself too as well. He's finding the balance,
Yeah.
between running the team and taking over a game, right? And that's more of your point guards today. Is there more lead guards? Your Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Kyrie, they caught in between, and now everything is positionless, right? So and I we didn't have a whole lot of conversations growing up. I mean, when you were coming up and you was over at the Boys and Girls Club, I don't know where that some people say, well, I used to go in and try to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
And particularly when you were in high school, I felt like I had a lot to offer. But sometimes some people say, "Hey, Isaiah was really shy back then." I mean, I was shy in high school too, as well. But I mean, I felt like I had a lot to offer, but people, I'm not going to force myself to say things to you. I kind of want you to say, but
Yeah,
I would,
gotta want it, but you live and you learn. You don't really know.
Yeah, because I would have told
now,
you.
I would.
Yeah, I would have told you. Like, look, man, I'm gonna say this to you, man. When you go to college, right? If you really want that shot in the league, man, you got to put that ball in the hole, man. I don't care. I like giving the ball to people, right?
Yeah.
I love giving the ball to people, but if you're not putting up those numbers, the numbers don't match, right? If the numbers don't match, people aren't looking. So I mean, today, man, the guy who can put that ball in the hole, right?
The one they want.
Yeah. I mean, that traditional point guard. Then the crazy thing is, then when I got to the league, right? Then all the coaches were old, so then they wanted me to be a traditional point guard, right? Now I could score better than most of the people on the team and pass the ball, but you want me to give them the ball who can't shoot? It's just.
That doesn't even add up.
No, it don't add up, but that's just the way it was. I mean, back then. But and here's the thing: as you talk about you getting drafted, I mean, you end up getting drafted, right?
Mhm.
What was your thoughts while you were sitting there? Because I was in California with my agent, and I was sitting there, and I thought I was going to be a first round draft pick. I mean, I
I
literally
thought so
thought,
too.
yeah,
I thought
I,
so too.
I
Cause
was
I
sitting
had,
there, and there was a whole lot of stuff that went wrong for me.
yeah,
Yeah, a whole lot of stuff went wrong.
like
And what was your thoughts while you were sitting
yeah, I definitely thought from my agent, I thought I was gonna go first round because I had good workouts. I had a Spurs workout and they had called me back for a second. They were saying that they really liked me, so I thought I was gonna go to the Spurs. But in the draft, like people go, they don't pick the projected lottery picks that don't get picked in the first round. It's like they start getting thrown to the back of the first round, and then teams just start scrambling.
Yeah, because they thought they were gonna go. They thought that person was gonna go there, and then it's like it's like dominoes.
Yeah,
And
but
then when the
like you said with the numbers, if I had 4 more points, I would have probably definitely went. I could say I would have went higher if I would have had like probably 4 more points. If I averaged 4 more points, because some of those guards that averaged that, I destroyed them in the workouts. But it was because they looking at numbers.
mm-hmm.
It's like a numbers game. It was a numbers game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's because there's a lot of stuff you don't know because you just don't know. you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
just be thinking about it because we just playing the game. Like we just
yeah, yeah. No, no, it's real. And so now talk a little bit about the pros because you get drafted, Sacramento. Talk about how that experience went.
Sacramento. Well, they sent me to the G League, but I went to training camp in Sacramento. Um, Sacramento is kind of like not really much to do out there. It's like a it's like a family town, but and then when I got out there, they was building the Golden One, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So the old arena, they wasn't really using it as much until like training camp. So I was pretty much out there from like a week after they drafted me until like summer league, and then I was there after summer league. So,
And you
but
did well.
they sent me to the G League though. So if I was drafted now, I would have been a two-way. So it would have been a little bit different. So
Mhm.
two-way is kind of like a G League player and an NBA player.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 And then so you go to G League. You do well in the G League, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, now they're always looking forward. Now who's coming next.
Yeah,
you
who's
know,
coming next year?
yeah, yeah. Who's coming next year? Who we gonna draft next year? So forth and so on. They looking at the G League, and if you're not putting up phenomenal, if you're not putting up like crazy numbers up in there, man, just
But I
dominating.
I personally believe the overseas market is better than the G League players because when you play overseas, you have to really think the game. You have to. It's like, but whenever I talk to people in the G League, they don't get what I'm saying because it's like they just think league, league, league. But some of those players overseas is more smarter
Hmm.
than a lot of because over there is like a lot of people is like Luca. Is like Luca. They're not really that athletic, but they're smart. They real. Those players that you just hate playing against because they're just real smart. Luca's definitely one of them. There's another point guard that was on Denver, Capasso.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's the change. That's the change in the game, particularly for African Americans. For American players, right? You know, AAU. Going to play AAU and just going out and playing games and getting out there to be seen by scouts. Um, you getting out there, you just playing, running up and down the court, so forth and so on, and people just let you ball because they say you good, and then but not teaching you, not instructing you, not working on those fundamentals, not working on the understanding of the game, right? And what happens is, I don't know if you knew this or not, but the NBA, you probably noticed the NBA has NBA, I think, where the NBA coaches and players, right? Is NBA International
Yeah.
or NBA Without Borders. Guys and coaches, legendary coaches, amazing older coaches and players that go overseas. Every year they going in and out overseas every year teaching the game. Now they in Europe and all these places and they teaching these kids the fundamentals of the game, the basics of the game, the understanding of the game, man, and then it's grown with their physicality. It's and so then all of a sudden you see those guys over there. Now they got all the fundamentals. All five guys, all five positions got all the fundamentals, right? And here in America, we jumping, athletic. I mean, and I love basketball, but I had a problem the other day watching the combine. I did. I had a problem watching the combine. I watched intensely, intentionally to see where the guys they were doing stuff. I was like, man, that's not even basketball, man. It's just that they're not thinking. They're not thinking the game. They just out there playing, trying to show their athleticism, stuff like that. And then they just throwing up threes. Maybe now you're trying to prove you didn't work on a three the whole 1, 2, 3, 4 years you're in school. Now all of a sudden you want to throw up a three, and you haven't spent time in the gym to learn how to shoot a three, right? I mean, it's just crazy. And then you get individuals who are coming from overseas. They come already ready for the game because at 18, 17, 18, 19 years old, they've been playing professional basketball since they were young. Luka was been playing since he was like 15, 16 years old. He's been playing pro basketball, right? And then he comes
those
over here
coaches
because
is
he
different
understands it.
too.
Yeah.
Those coaches is real different.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to change the way we think about how we train kids today, right? Particularly American kids and African American kids today.
Definitely.
Yeah. So and so now what's next? I mean, you still on you still in the process of playing pro ball. What's next over the next 3-6 months? What's the goal?
The goal is to just get better. Like you said, the goal is to put the ball in the hole more. I think that's what's gonna make me go to the next level and just be able to be a two-way player, do that, and be able to play defense as well. I think if I do that, then I think the world is anything can happen. And the main thing is just preparing myself and being mentally ready, staying in shape, and to get bigger. So
Yeah. And then here's the all time favorite questions, or maybe it's not asked enough, right? As this game we love, right? And we all have a problem with it. This game we love is there will come a day when you have to transition out of it, right? What do you do after the game? That last bounce, that last shot, that last pass. What are you thinking about?
what I'm thinking about, hopefully a family.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
and start a business. Probably be an entrepreneur. And then I think for me, mentoring. I think I would really want to try and have like an AAU, a big AAU team in Westchester, to give these kids the opportunity to showcase what they can do on a high level. I think that would be a main thing for me, and just having an atmosphere where I can give the kids what I learned and some of the tools that I may not had when I was their age, and just to be able to give knowledge back to them. Because some kids may need help that, like you said earlier, they may not have that family structure that another person have, and they want to do good, but they need somebody who's understanding and who can help them reach that potential because they're in a different situation. But everybody's journey is different. So I'm just trying to help the community.
Yeah.
But definitely be an entrepreneur and family. When I have kids, it's kind of like what I'm gonna do for the kid, for my kids.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah, family's always good. I'm going on 39 years of marriage, you know.
Yeah,
And
congratulations.
oh,
That's a long
thanks.
time.
Yeah, it's a long time, man. It's been a minute.
That's longer than I was born.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. You 28 years old, so you still young, man.
Yeah.
You still young, and you know what? Nothing's impossible because I'm trying to think of the guy, Charlie Chris. I don't know if you know Charlie Chris. You heard of
No, I
Charlie Chris?
don't.
Charlie Chris was uh, about 5'7", 5'7", 5'6", something like that,
Yeah.
from Yonkers, New York. He made the NBA when he was 29. I mean, at that height, he was a little stocky
Small.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he could just score, outright score, and just play defense like just like crazy. So it's not impossible. I think there's somebody on the on Golden State Warriors who made the team this year. So it's not impossible. You have passion,
Yeah,
love,
Gary Payton the second. We was in the same draft class. We was
right?
in a lot of workouts together.
Right, and he's there. I mean, if it's what you want, and I'm saying like if you're going, I know you told me you were going back over, you wanted to go back overseas. You got to get paid too.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah. I mean, just keep rolling, man. You know, and one other thing before we get off here, right? One other thing we get off here, and I had asked you this at the gym the other day when I came in, and I had asked you how many kids. Now you've been at Marvin High School since you got back from college, since you came back from overseas, since you came back from summer leagues, right? And I want you to give the answer that you gave me when I asked you. You're in the gym with a bunch of kids at Mount Vernon High School, right? All the time, right? How many kids come up to you and say, "Hey, Isaiah or Mr. Cousins, I mean, you got a college scholarship. You got drafted in the pros. You're playing professional basketball right now. How many kids have actually come up to you and said, "Hey man, can you give me any advice about how you did or how you accomplished the things you accomplished? I want to be a basketball player. I want to play in the pros." How many kids have come up and asked you?
Nah, not many. But now that you said it, I remember one kid. I think his name is Troy.
Mm-hmm.
He always used to ask me little questions about how did I get to college, and I always spoke to him. But he's the only kid that I know. Other than that, nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, and you're in the gym with them all the time. So, and you're down there shooting and doing what you do, right?
Yeah.
And nobody comes up, "Hey man, let me work out with you, man. How did you do that?" I have a problem with that, man.
I found that. Yeah.
I mean, no, because I think everybody wants to do what Isaiah Cousins did: graduate from high school, get a scholarship, play basketball at the highest level,
Mhm.
right? Get drafted in the pros, and no kid will walk up to you and say, "Hey, man, tell me how you did that." That-
Well, it's hard to find that one kid that really wants to do it. I think
So
everybody
why are
say they
they
just want to do
so
it.
so why are they playing then? What's the purpose in playing? Is it just recreation for them, or they don't want to go to college? They don't want to get they don't want to get a scholarship. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's a question I don't know, but I am there all the time. I'm in the community. I see them. So my guess is that they don't want to put in the hard work because it is hard. You gotta do it every day. Sometimes you might not like it, but I mean, I remember Ben Gordon came to the Mount Vernon High School. And he said he used to wake up at 5 in the morning. Even though I ain't know Ben Gordon, I said to myself, I probably got to do the same thing if I really want it. Like, if you want it, you're gonna get it. But I
Right.
think a lot of kids is kind of spoiled, and they want people to like they want it to be given to them and not earn it. And that's something I always wanted to do. I wanted to earn the respect of being a good basketball player. If they say something is wrong with my game, I always look at film and try to think about how can I get better. I'm still learning different things, like especially like with like lifting weights and how can I be more athletic? How can I reduce injuries? I'm always finding something, even if it's not basketball, something that has to deal with basketball, with movement and mental. Like there's books that help with I forgot what the book is called. The Inner Game of Tennis. That's a book I need
Hmm.
to read. That's a book
Yeah.
I that's a book I heard is really, really good for you, especially like for your mental.
Oh yeah, it's a good book. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
read it before?
I read portions of it. Yeah. 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 I read portions of that book. Yeah. I mean, that was one of my number one things playing basketball. Because my coach said to me, after you're in shape and you understand the game is 99.9% mental. So the difference between two guys with the same skill set is what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have all the same way. You can have all the shots. A guy can shoot. You both can shoot in the gym. You guys can make shot in the gym, right? But when you get in the competition, you got one guy with the same skills can't make that shot, and the other guy who's mentally zoned in who can make that shot. Who
Yep.
believes in that shot.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, it's about how you think, right? And the guy who can think the game is always going to outplay the guy who can't. So yeah, man. Is there any final comments? Any that you would, as a young person out there listening right now, what would you say to them?
I would say in basketball, there's always something you can learn, and I would say listen to each player interviews and see how did he get there, and just look in the mirror. If you really want it, it's up to you. But it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be easy. It's going to be ups and downs, but everybody has their journey. Everybody has a journey that they get through in basketball, whether they was good at one point and they went downhill, or whether you just learning the game. It's always going to be you could always learn something from each coach, each trainer. It's something like you can never stop learning. But I would say always put hard work. You gotta always have passion, and the third thing I would say, you gotta have discipline.
I
It's a
like that.
time and place for everything. Because it's a athletic sport, you do need rest. Rest is a big part of your recovery, and rest is also a big part of how you're gonna play the next day. That's something I took for granted when I was in college.
Mm.
And also eating well as well. Understanding that food gives you energy, and certain people play good with it. All goes in it go nutrition and playing goes in hand, because when you get fatigued and your body gets tired, that's when a lot of people get injured. So
Yeah, and also finally, just tell them a little bit about the importance of having the right attitude or character, and also the importance of education. Talk a little bit
having
about
the
that.
right attitude and character is key because these coaches talk and it's a small circle and your character could go a long way, and just having the right attitude, right mindset, it can open a lot of doors for you. And education, I would say education is a key because when you're done with basketball, you need to be able to have the basic skills and to get in the real world. You definitely need education. I mean,
Yeah. So Isaiah, I want to say we're a little bit 5 minutes past our time, but I just told you it would go nice and smooth. And so I want to thank you for taking the time, out your busy schedule.
of course, no problem. Thanks for
And
having me.
oh, you're welcome, and spending some time with me here, man. I enjoyed it,
Of course.
and I hope that and so we just hang on for a minute. I'm going to sign us off, and I want to say, look, there was a lot of good nuggets here tonight. Isaiah dropped a lot of dimes, tonight. Hopefully, if you're a young person or a parent out there and you're listening and you have kids that are thinking about being a professional athlete, and you heard over the last couple of weeks between Coach Gonzalez, Bobby Gonzalez, and then Isaiah here, we're in this season. We're in the playoff season of the NBA, the start of the WNBA, and there are a lot of athletes that wanted to play in the WNBA, wanted to play in the NBA, wanted to play overseas. I mean, you've heard some comments about what it would actually take to do it over these last couple of weeks. And hopefully it's been good for you. Hopefully it's been real good for you, this interview with Isaiah. And look at this as many times as possible and check out the information. I want to say I love you guys, man. God bless you, man. Look forward to seeing you next week as my good friend and brother Anthony Johnson will be on, and we're going to be talking about the youth development process. We're about to do some stuff around youth development because we think it's important that we give our kids the right type of training. We're gonna talk about parenting, some things around parenting and how parents can help develop their kids in this time. So I want to say God bless you again, and have a good night. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.